We're listening to
Split the defense.
LEAFS Postgame Edition.
Split the defense.
Forest Electrical Contractors. Professional and efficient service since 2004. Serving the Kingston and surrounding areas. Alongside co-host Craig Pearce and producer Ted Evans, here's your host, Jordan Webster.
What up, what up? I'm Webby with CP and producer Ted over here following the Leafs playing tonight. And holy smokes, there's some stuff to talk about. But the biggest thing that we have to talk about first is Joseph Woll. Because
Definitely.
I was trying not to talk to you this whole time, CP, before we got producer Ted in here ready to rock and roll. And holy Dinah, this isn't good. So we had Samsonov's sick. Okay, so we have Samsonov. All right, he's sick. He can come back. But Joseph Woll was the guy right now. We were relying on him a lot, and we have Martin Jones, so you can play those guys. But I mean, if Samsonov's not available at some point here, you're just
And not
mentioning
good.
what? Dennis Hildeby? That's not good.
Yeah.
That's too far. Like Steve Dangle came up with a perfect description for this. There's a buoy where you can't swim past. The buoy line. That's the buoy. Once you've gone past that, that's too far. Right? Like I think like Martin Jones is the buoy. Once we get past Martin Jones, that's too far. You've gone too deep.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. There's a level, and you a prospect goalie like Dennis Hildeby, you don't really want to throw to the fire, right? Like it could go really bad for him, and it's just like a speed bump in his development. And he's been looking really good. Like I was just looking at his numbers, it's 925 or something like that, 1.89 GAA. Definitely a goalie to look at for next year or the year after. It's crazy how Woll was just standing on his head tonight, right? Like just having a game of his career, really.
Yeah, best game of his career, high hands down, and he gets hurt.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then he just goes down with potentially a massive injury. Couldn't put any
it's
weight
not
on
gonna be
his
good.
leg. So that was rough.
It's a hamstring or like a groin or like I think maybe it's called an adductor, the same thing that
Fancy.
that Matt Murray was dealing with last year. It's one of those muscles in there. It's something like that, and it's in the left side, and he hobbled off the ice. He did it. You could see in the play he did it before, and then he kind of grabbed at his leg, and so when I see him grab at the front of his leg, that's why I started to say hamstring. But not good either way. He's gonna be a couple weeks. Hopefully, because it's just a tweaker. Like I've pulled a hamstring before lightly, but I don't know how lightly it was for him. You know, I
Yeah.
can't imagine it was as light as mine jogging onto the field and going, shit.
Yeah.
But
Also,
but,
playing goalie is your hamstring is very necessary.
but he also went again and then tweaked it again, and that's when he finally pulled.
Oh,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Webby.
We may have. Oh, we've had him back.
Oh,
Nice.
did you guys miss all that?
Yes.
A little bit.
Oh,
Yes.
awesome.
I
Well,
bet
that's
it was great.
I got it all. Yeah, I don't
I'm
even
sure it
remember what I said.
It was
now.
on the live.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, everybody else saw it. Anyways, so the Leafs, they gave up way too many breakaways tonight for me. This team, they got a few breakaways. They scored on a couple of them too, which was awesome. But I'm not a huge fan of this type of game between them. Like, I mean, I know you say I love goals. I do love goals, but I be responsible. The Domi Yarncroke line with Robertson, those three guys together, they're a trading chances line constantly, and I think we said this before, but it's killing me. It's killing me on the inside because I don't think they're scoring enough, and it's too stressful when they're on the ice. And like you noted at the beginning of the night, Kampf and Gregor and Yarncroke were playing more, and they actually are getting more minutes than the third line, right? That if you want to include Robertson and Domi. Like, Yarncroke's getting a ton of minutes because he plays everywhere and everything. Like I'm sure, like literally, he plays everything. And
Yeah.
so I mean, like he's playing with these guys and on the fourth line, and now you've got the other two guys that aren't even being utilized for what they're supposed to be on this offensive defensive line. Like they have nothing going on this third line. Breakaways are being given up, and I know it was other lines that gave them up too, because there was a ton tonight. But it seemed like every single time it was like they'd go up the ice, and then the other team goes up the ice, and then they'd go up the ice, then the other team goes up the ice. Like, it's a track meet here. You're running back and forth, and enough is enough. Did you not notice the same thing, CP?
I will note that it's kind of how the whole team is playing too. There's not a lot of offensive zone time happening for the Leafs in general. And like I'm not sure if that's because of a lack of talent on the blue line. Because typically the blue line's in charge of holding the line. The forwards go in and get it, and then, whether it's stopping the transition out or they're swinging it back. But I wouldn't put it all on just the third line, but they definitely are the worst. I like actually them playing with Reeves instead of Yarncroc because, like you said, like that Kampf, Yarncroc, and Gregor, that's a pretty responsible line, and like I kind of trust them being out there. So I wouldn't mind them just rolling with that more as the third line until maybe down the road things change. But yeah, it's a bit of trading chances in general, and whenever a team lets over 40 shots on your goalie, you're letting a little bit too much. You can't rely on Wall just stood on his head. The amount of times that I haven't looked up the high danger chances, but it's got to be off the charts. Like he made some stellar saves tonight.
Wool was unbelievable, man. Like I know we're all over the place here, but holy woolly, this guy was unbelievable. The first save he made, my dad came in the room after sharing a living space here. And he comes down to my place. He goes, "What's going on?" Like he's watching the same game. Like, what are you watching that I'm not watching? I was like, "The save." He goes, "Oh," like yeah, he was just spectacular. He should have been like Vladimir Tarasenko is going to see Joseph Woll in his nightmares. I swear to God, he's gonna haunt his dreams. He's gonna wake up in the morning just cold sweats, just thinking about Joe Woll. Like I don't know how maybe
the nicest
he goes on,
Joe Wall too.
the nicest guy in the world. Yeah, I don't know how Tarasenko goes on after this and finds his way. Like he's gonna have to get a couple of lucky ones because holy, he was bitten tonight. He got goalied. Like just that one player himself got goalied twice, big time, that he should have scored on probably both of those shots. And on a majority of the goalies in the league, he probably would have scored on both of those shots.
Yeah, they're good attempts. It's not like he flubbed them. Like solid connection, goalie coming across the crease, but yeah, brick wall.
Joe Woll, holy woolly, what a man. Yeah. So Yarny's playing a lot on the fourth line. So you're wondering okay, why is Reeves even here? Like you're getting to a point of now Sam Lafferty's playing in the top 6 of the Vancouver Canucks. And you're thinking, you see it all over the place. And how can you not, as a fan, think, well, holy shit, I wonder what my team would be like if we had a player like Sam Lafferty down on the bottom 6. Huh? Instead of Ryan Reeves. I have no idea what that would be like.
Yeah.
But it's unfortunate because it's a $200,000 difference. And if they just didn't take Reeves at the beginning, then they wouldn't have to worry about anything else because Sam Lafferty we would have never ever had a conversation topic about the fourth line all season because they wouldn't have had a worry, not a fret. Everything would have just been solved. It would have been Gregor, Kampf, Reeves. Gregor, Kampf, Lafferty. That's a line.
That's
right?
a good line.
Yeah.
Gregor, Kampf,
Good
Lafferty.
fourth line.
That's fast, forechecking, responsible. Like they're good. They're all good hockey players too. Like any one of them, if they can click too, they could find some offensive spark. Like those guys could figure it out. They're playing against lower competition. And if you don't care any at all about offensive spark, with those 3 guys and a little bit of chemistry, you might even be able to play them against middle sixes and potentially sometimes a top line, depending on the team, and try and shut people down because that line is good, right? Like Kampf he's been in a shutdown role before. So I'm wondering myself, 3 years of Ryan Reeves. Is this gonna last? Is this gonna work out? What is gonna happen here? Is something gonna give, or are they just gonna keep playing this? We'll play every couple of games. We'll play you 5 minutes. You're not gonna fight. You're barely gonna hit. You're here to put the music on, and we'll pay you $1.3 million a year.
Yeah, that's an expensive DJ.
Yeah.
It's not gonna last, and it's funny we're like pouring on him when he played more tonight than he has in a while. Like he was getting quite a few third period shifts, which, but all in all, this guy's not making it 3 years. At least if this team's gonna do anything.
And it's just
So-
like how much different and how much better you see that line that he fills is when he's not on it. You're like, oh, like I don't even.
Yeah.
I was personally advocating for Ryan Reeves on this team. I was
Me too.
stoked. Like,
Yeah.
super happy about it. Had no ill will, no negative thoughts. There wasn't anything bad for me. But now that I see it, now I see it's not working. Like when it wasn't even working, I'm like, well, it doesn't always seem like it's his fault when he's getting scored on. But then you see it when it's not him. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, it's like the grass isn't always greener. Well, sometimes the grass is greener, man. Like, and in this point in case, without Reeves on this line, the grass is much greener. And you see that with replace player here, Bobby McMahon, Callie Ehrencroke, who's a guy clearly, but like Callie Ehrencroke, you could probably bring another guy from the AHL up, and he probably looked better than Reeves in that spot.
100%.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of it just has to do with the offensive ability. Like we see him running around, and tonight he did
Foot
get a bunch of
speed.
hits.
It's too
Yeah,
slow.
but it's just he's never gonna get in on any real play. So it's just about surviving when he's out there, and that's not what a line should be. Like your fourth line should be about energy and develop and like creating something for the first line or second line that comes out after them, and it just typically isn't that.
No, want to be striving, not thriving, or thriving, not striving. I was going to say too, I've never been a fan of Reeves personally. Enemy of the Avs.
Right.
Ever since he put his knee on, I think it was McLeod's head, someone's head. I didn't like that.
Yeah. He's got a lot of enemies everywhere. I think every team has a story.
Yeah.
So Mitchie had a breakaway goal tonight, and he seems to be on a roll. He's sitting at 25 points in 23 games played. That seems still very underwhelming for the way that Mitch Marner's performed in some of these games recently. He's looked good, and he's been scoring in like 9 goals. I thought he'd have 12 or 13, to be honest with you. Just not paying attention to how many goals he has. But he scores one on the breakaway tonight. I really like seeing Mitch Marner's soft snipe, if that makes any sense. It doesn't look like it's wired or anything, but it's just he puts it where it needs to go. It's like a baseball pitcher who doesn't throw 90 and well, how is he in the MLB? Well, it's because he can throw it where he wants to throw it. And that's really cool to see with Mitch, that because that's how he's putting some of these in, right? And they're really nice coming down on the breakaway and sniping like that. And soft hands. They're not hard shots. They're just good and well placed, right?
Yes. Yeah, he's been a bit better too lately. Like nothing outstanding. He hasn't really been controlling play, but contributing just like he should when everyone was about like to start piling on him. Right now he's got a hat trick and now another goal in a good game. So things are rolling in the right direction for him.
Right on. So what's the next thing we should get into here, CP?
So, well, I mean, I just want to. It's another 40-minute performance from the Leafs. Really, like start out slow. They end up winning the game, but it's just one of those games again where after the first period, I'm just so down on this team, right? And they turn it around thankfully and pretty quickly going into the second. But just a hard. No matter how many years go by, this team just never starts on time.
No, but it seems to be a little bit worse this year.
Yeah.
I hesitate
Probably
to
just
say
that we're doing a podcast.
I hate to
Yeah,
say
we're
it.
talking about it.
we
Yeah.
notice it a lot more. But I mean, it really seems to be like I wonder if it's a play style thing. Like I've always questioned, like, we're going to change the play style. Brad Tree Living says we're going to change the play style in the off season, and Sheldon Keefe says I'm on board with changing into this play style and I like it. And I don't see them circling back as much, but they still do. And I don't really know what the difference of the play style is, except for maybe this whole we're going to play rush chances back and forth. Um, I don't know. Again, that could be chalked up to the defense, but I wonder how much is it a play style thing that, like, maybe they should be a little more confident and cohesive as a unit to be able to start games and just go and take them over from the first couple of minutes in. Like you see, I've seen other teams do it. I've seen Colorado score first a lot this year. I can't watch those damn games. I listen to them on Altitude Radio. Thank you, Altitude. But on the other hand, it's nice to see that, and I wonder, is that because, I mean, they have this confidence of winning the cup in the group, and and even the guys who didn't win the cup are like, well, these guys won the cup, and now we're on the team that won the cup with the guys who won the cup. We could win the cup. It's a confidence thing, right? So I wonder how much that comes into it, and if they're not quite confident in this new play style or what they're being told to do, or if it's a chemistry issue, like, what the hell do you think it is, CP?
It's a really good question because you can't just say that like Colorado does it because of a Stanley Cup, because like Ottawa came out and started this game really really well.
They're
and,
terrible
they're
for
not
starting
that.
on time as well too, though. They just
Yeah.
always play well against the Leafs. Bad example.
Right, yeah. Maybe it's just this game potentially, but yeah, I don't know. It's just something where they always just have to, like, they have survival mode on for the first little bit, and sometimes it goes well and sometimes it doesn't. Like tonight without Wall, this could have been a 2-0 game after the first, and it's just interesting how you can come out on a second period and a third period with just such a different attitude than coming out on the first into the first period.
I guess that's fair. You just see other teams do it more, and like it's. I used to see, like you say, well, maybe it's because we watch it more this year, but like I used to sit down and watch every game. I still have this is why we started a podcast, because I always did this anyway.
We always did this, yeah.
I'm sitting down and watching these games, and you're right. There was a lot of times where they didn't start on time. It became a topic, but there were a lot of nights where they scored first, they scored early, and they scored lots. And I wonder just how much of it is like maybe not being too confident with your line mates, because Sheldon Keefe is he tinkers with everything. He's just like Bob the Builder. Can he fix it? Like, it's let it be. I don't know, man. Like, he just needs to listen to some Paul McCartney and have a day here. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell him for switching all these lines up and maybe fucking the chemistry, if we want to be honest, between everybody. Because, like, Bertuzzi looks great, but, like, what are we going to do now? We're going to put Bertuzzi with Matthews because we want to get Matthews going. Like, so Mitch and Matthews aren't working. Okay. So we put Mitch down with the Bertuzzi and Tavares. Okay. Well, now all of a sudden that's still the best line. Well, okay, obviously. So it wasn't Willie. Willie's now cooled right off. So he was benefiting large from being on that line. So he scored tonight too, by the way. Just saying. But, like, you see all this happening. I just wonder where they're headed. The next thing I wanted to talk about is Benoit. He was in the zone for 29 seconds. And I'm watching the ozone clock go up for the Sens. 27, 28. And I'm like, bang! Like, that's what I would have done. He nails the guy. They get the puck back and they get it out. The Leafs don't have enough big guys who are willing to go in and just crash sometimes. He's like, you know what? I'm breaking this up. Because the guy's like skating back over. I'm over here. I'm over here. I'm over. And all of a sudden, there you go. You can't be playing around like that. Like, we've all seen it in the movies. You see it all the time, right? Like, you just need more bigger, stronger guys who are willing to go in and just bang. Because when somebody's messing around with the puck like that, like, just go crash them, especially when you've been out there for like 25 plus seconds in your own zone. Like, not just your shift, but in your own zone. I thoroughly on board with less puck-moving defensemen and more guys who bang bodies.
Yeah, and right before that, too, he made a play where he stopped 2 chances right in a row, right in front of the net. Then he skates over to the side and lays that hit. So I think that he's found a spot. I don't think he looks great when you move him up to the fourth or to the second pair. Like if he's a fourth defenseman, not looking so hot. But as a fifth
No,
and
that's
sixth
Anaheim.
on your third pair, I like him because he knows his abilities. He knows how to clear a net, how to tie someone up, and he throws a hit. Like he hit 2 guys at once tonight at a different point in the night. Like
Double
I'm
Dion.
The
all
double
about
Dion,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, the double Dion. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Oh yeah. See, I like me some Simon Benoit. He's been a great player. I mean, like the Lagesson hasn't been bad. Timmins hasn't been bad. Benoit hasn't been bad. But it's like they're all third pairing guys. Like
They're
right
all
now,
5'6" guys.
they're all 5'6" guys. And what the Leafs are really craving is that top 4 talent. Particularly, no offense to Brody, he's great, he's steady Freddy, but a top 2 guy. They really need somebody to play with Riley. And if they do that, pushing Brody down just makes this team so much better. It slots everybody in a way better position, filling different roles, and I just think it would really, really help for the Leafs to get another legit defenseman. I know we did the trade targets, but at this point, like, those guys are just showing me that, like, you guys can play in the same spots that we're looking to fill with a lot of these guys. The Leafs need to go and they need to make a splash. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think that we're about to get Timothy Liljegren back at some point. And if you could imagine if you get someone, that doesn't only push Brody down, but it pushes Liljegren to the third pair. And that just seems like where he can just do whatever he wants down there, really. And he's also our second power play guy. So I think Connor Timmins loses his job. Yeah, this team needs a top line shutdown.
Do you think Lily's better than Timmins on the power play? I think that's kind of Timmins' gig, so I think that's kind of where they're going to put him. I think that's where he thrives the most, right? Like, Liljegren may be able to do it, but can he do it as well as Timmins?
I think he's significantly better in 5-on-5. Liljegren is, and so you take a bit of a hit on your second power play unit to get him in there for those minutes because I trust him more on a PK as well than I do with Timmins. So I think you are right though that Timmins is better on power play.
At this point, like, what are our D pairings going to look like in a perfect world? Because, like, if you don't have John Klingberg back, like, who plays 2 right D? Who's playing 2 right D when really is that who we're getting? And we're gonna have McCabe with them, and you're gonna
Brody.
I want McCabe and Liljegren down at the bottom, and I want Brody on the second line, and then we put maybe Brody and Liljegren, and then we have a new top line defenseman. This is in my world, my perfect world is what I'm thinking of. McCabe, so like on the bottom line, you could have Liljegren there. You could have him on the second pairing. But like, who plays on the second if Lily doesn't?
Well, I think if you want McCabe to be on the third pair, then someone's like Liljegren's got to play up on the second because you're not going to get that's talking about getting 2 top 2 line defensemen, and I think they're probably looking hopefully at just getting 1 significant. But actually, they were looking at Tanev and Zadorov as a like trade combination. So that just maybe is not good of a defenseman that I would like, but that would be the way to do it.
There's been lots of talk that they're going for more than 1, like 2, like I don't know, maybe 5, like I don't know. Who knows? I said more than 1, so it could be anything.
Yeah.
We can speculate whatever we want. So like I don't know, it could be multiple guys that end up filling these spots, right? Maybe we have Liljegren on the third pair, and then you get a top 4 right D, and you play him with McCabe. But the top 4 right D playing with McCabe, like McCabe is good, and he's kind of good at everything. But like, you get a puck moving. Like, who's he good with? Is I guess my point. What kind of defenseman should Jake McCabe play with, in your opinion?
I think that my opinion has changed over him being on the team. Because at first I thought that he had the ability to be the shutdown guy and have a puck mover with him, but I think that he just enjoys jumping up into the play way too much. And so I think that the ideal pairing for him is another shutdown guy. And then maybe that is a shutdown line because McCabe is no slouch in his own end. So I think that, but he just likes jumping up too much. So you need to put him with someone who's just going to sit back. If Benoit was a better player, I'd say someone like that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think McCabe needs a cabriolet, and then
Right.
right, and then you're
Yeah.
set. It's like classic Leafs, McCabe and cabriolet.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be amazing? Yeah.
So the next thing I want to talk about is Matthew Nyes, because he's currently occupying top 6 minutes, and he's a great player, excellent player. I love Matthew Nyes.
Very
I've been
nice.
advocating for this guy since the very first game he's played for the Leafs. I thought, holy wow, he's great. But in his last 10 games, he's had no points, an assist. No points, no points, a goal. No points, an assist. Or no points, a goal. No points, a goal. No points, no points, a goal and 2 assists, and no points. So there's a lot of games in there for a guy playing in the top 6 to be getting 0 points.
Right.
Especially playing on the top line, especially playing with Austin Matthews. Do you think at some point here somebody else is going to get switched in and we're going to continue to see we don't know who plays where anymore? Or do you think Matthew Nyes is just solid in there? Like, I kind of feel at this point like he maybe needs to drop down. Like maybe a great combination would be Mitch and Nyes and Tavares, and then you put Willie back with Bertuzzi because they worked really well together, and see if that can get sparking with Matthews, like kind of like you wanted at the beginning of the year. Because like whatever's happening there isn't working, and I understand we need to play him top 6 minutes, but it almost like how sick would it be if we had somebody to play top 6 that we're like, yeah, legit, that's his job. He's top 6, but we have Matthew Nyes, and like we're putting him in Robertson's role right now. Would that not be nice to have Matthew Nyes on the third line? That is a cup-winning depth, right? That's the kind of depth that I think we need right now. Matthew Nyes really isn't proving that he can be that top line guy that he's playing as right now, let alone a top 6 player, let alone a top line guy. So it's hard.
I feel like I wouldn't want to put him on the third line, to be honest with you. I think that the second line might be like the sweet spot for him. If Bertuzzi can do what he's doing at the moment, and Nyes was great tonight too. Like let's not like it's not like he's been bad. He had some really good
it's
shifts.
just he's not scoring enough for a guy that's going to play on the top line with Austin Matthews. Like you need more points.
Yeah, I think I like him playing with skilled players. So if you swap Bertuzzi and Nyes, I think that might be something to try. But to be honest, like this is all about getting Austin Matthews going and him being dominant. So I think a lot of it just has to do with him. So he had 2 goals last game, which was great, but I just want to see a bit more of it and more consistent. But yeah, you could try Bertuzzi Nyes switch, but what was that, Ted?
Just consistency, big.
Yes.
Key.
Yeah.
So the last thing I want to touch on before we check out here, and I'll let you go into anything you want to talk about, but the last thing I really want to get into is the shot map that you shared in the group chat or in the lineup. It's you've got the side where we like the defensive side for the Leafs, and they get shot on. I don't even care what you want to read out of this. You can tell me why you put it in there after, but from reading it, people shoot all over the place on the Leafs, and the Leafs only shoot from a few certain areas, and they have a whole lot of ice that they're not capitalizing on. And like, I wonder how much that really is from like the defense. I like the crash and bang, but like got Connor Timmins back. You got guys that are still going to be shooting at the net. Like, and is nobody going to the high slot at all, even like letting a defenseman kind of kick down to the side, going to the high slot and taking shots up there? It's really, really off-putting to see how much of the ice isn't used by the Maple Leafs to generate chances. And these are just expected goals, right? Am I correct?
These are just shots.
Just shots.
Unblocked shots. Yeah.
Unblocked shot. That is so sad.
Yeah.
That they can't get a shot from outside the house. They cannot get
Yeah.
an unblocked shot from outside the home plate area. It's unbelievable. Like, I
Yeah,
don't
so
know, man. Morgan Riley, you got Connor Timmins, you've got like TJ Brody isn't a bad player, and he could throw one through. I'm sure you've seen other guys do it, and there's forwards that could be doing this. Like, what are they missing here, CP?
well, I think that just proves there's like a lack of. I don't. Well, actually, I'm not sure what it proves. If it's proving that the offensive strategy of the league, where they just don't want to put shots on from up top, but there's lots of chances tonight. I screamed at McCabe a couple times where he's got the puck up top, and Austin Matthews is in the high slot, and then you got William Nylander in the low slot, and he passes it around the boards. And it's just like, just get that on net. Like, there's so much talent right in front of the net. Like, come on. I think it's displaying to me that there's a lack of skill on the Leafs defense. Like, we've kind of been saying this for a while, and it's just that we're surviving right now, and there's a lot of players on the team that are adequate but not going to stand out, and they just don't have the confidence to put pucks on net. So yeah, like, I guess for the people not watching, like, we're looking at a heat map, and the whole ice on shots against is filled up on the Leafs defense side, and they're only shooting from out front and almost 0 shots from the defensive line. And I just think that's where I think things are going to change when we get more.
So
defense.
I hit the nail on the head when I made that observation, right? That was your point too. You didn't even tell me that.
No.
I'm like, this is not good. I can see you don't even know how to read these things very well. I mean, I understand them to a certain degree, but that's not good. Even
Right.
a guy like me can look at that and be like, that's terrible.
Yeah, it catches our eye for the same reason. Like, I was just looking at all the stats before the game, and like, this heat map just jumps in your face as soon as you click on the page. And yeah, it's just like, what is going on here? Like, yeah, even if you click through all the different spots, the only time that you get the defense is on a power play. But other than fucking deep, time and time again.
Yeah, pucks in deep. So we had I have one more thing I found in here. We have Domi roughing around with Ridley Gregg. Ridley Gregg's apparently a little rat, isn't he?
Yeah.
Tonight, a couple of times, looking at this kid, like, God, he's playing like, what did he hit Timmins into the boards right from behind? Like, he
got the
boarded him
penalty
and
for
like
it, yeah.
Timmins' neck, like, oh, that must have hurt. That could not have felt good. He got the penalty for it, yeah, absolutely. But like, then he's mucking around with Domi, and like, I mean, if Domi's not going to score, and he scored that pretty one the other night, I'd love to see like a whole ton more of those. And you know, he was a part of that great play tonight. When was it Yarncroke put it in?
Yeah.
So Robertson to Domi to Robertson, Yarncroke. He was right up and in there, anyways. But geez, lost my point.
Ridley Gregg is feisty.
Ridley Gregg, Max Domi. If he's not scoring goals, I would much more prefer him to fill this whole aggressor rat role. You know?
Yeah, I think that's why he's been doing everything I've thought that we were asking of him so far. A lot of people have been a little bit hard on him because he's not scoring, but that's just not his thing. And I think that for the first week, he came off a little slow, but I love just the ability for him to just muck it up, like he said.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. So the last thing that I see here to finish this is is this correct? The shots were 41-22 for the Sens. Oh, I think I lost you there, CP.
41-22.
41-22. Yeah, that's not good, man. I don't know if that can be real. Like, is that shot? Yeah, that's got to be 41-22.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the Leafs make it out of a game winning again, getting doubled up on their shots like that. Normally that's not the case for the Leafs.
That's us
honestly,
and Shell.
Ted.
That's
it. That's us and Shell. Yeah, absolutely. That's how we win Shelly games. Just all defense rushes up the ice, just like the Florida Panthers or the Montreal Canadiens Cup runs. You just got to take your chances when they come, and you win games. But that's not like the Leafs, man, at all. They're normally the team to shut the other team down for shots, not There's CP, and he's back, and we're good. CP, can you hear us? Oh no, he looks like he's frozen again.
He's just chilling.
CP, are you there?
I'm here. There, I'm back.
Nice. Yeah.
All right. So I pointed out that the shots were 41
sort
to
of.
22.
I don't know. I can't hear you guys still.
Oh no. Oh no. All right, well, we're going to cut that. We're going to cut the episode here. Technical difficulties. The Leafs got whomped in shots tonight. They got saved by Joey Wool. He got hurt. We had goals from Willie. We had goals from Mitchie. We had Yarncroke with a goal.
I don't know.
And Kampf had a greasy one tonight. All in all, it was a good game. They won. Move on. And they play again Saturday, I'm sure, because they always play Saturday. I didn't even check. Why check? They always play Saturday. The Leafs don't play Saturday. I'm like, why aren't the Leafs playing Saturday?
Right. Exactly.
This
is Canada. Come on.
They play the Preds. Oh, return of Ryan O'Reilly. So we will catch you guys Saturday, post-game for the Leafs. Thanks for watching. Split the defense with CP, who is not here anymore. We lost him. Producer Ted and myself, Jordan Webster. We love you. Until next time, peace.
Peace.
You've been listening to
Split the defense.
Leafs Post-Game Edition. Hosted by Jordan Webster, Craig Pearce, and producer Ted Evans.
Split the defense.
Is presented by LaForest Electrical Contractors. Professional and efficient service since 2004. Serving the Kingston and surrounding areas.